What's up, all you cool cats and kittens? Welcome back to another Tiger Talk Tuesday. Wait, no, it's Tess. Never mind. If you haven't seen it already, go watch the Tiger King. Good old Carol Baskin is on there. But welcome back to another Test Talk Tuesday. Welcome back to my house day 378 of quarantine, something like that. I don't really know. I've lost count. But it is another Tesla Talk Tuesday. But speaking of tigers, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Tesla is apparently launching a potential like Cheetah stance, not tiger, but close enough, Cheetah stance, for the launch mode on the Raven Model S and X's. Essentially all this does is, so normally when you do launch mode, you hold down the brake pedal, you push down the accelerator pedal all the way, and then when you're ready to go, it'll say like launch mode enabled, you let go of the brake and it takes off, and the air suspension will drop on them. The Cheetah mode is just dropping the front suspension as if a cheetah is crouching down in the front, and then it takes off. So I don't know if this is going to help 0 to 60 times, but either way, it's neat that they're trying other stuff, and they can easily try other stuff by simple over-the-air updates. Now, if you guys are questioning the outfit that I'm wearing, yeah, I mean, come on, we're all staying at home. I wear a simple t-shirt, some soccer pants, you know how it is, soccer shorts. So yeah, it's pretty much been my life for the last couple days, weeks, however long it's been. I don't even really know. It's just stuck in the house doing nothing. But I do want to say a quick thank you to all the doctors, nurses, people that are working at hospitals, pharmacies, whatever it may be, as well as any essential employees, also the people that are still working in grocery stores, things like that. But I do definitely say and highly recommend Instacart. We've used that I think like 3 times now to get groceries, and it works perfectly. Sometimes it does say that it's not going to be delivered till like next week or something, but then depending on how early you order in the day, usually there'll be like an option to be like, oh, get it in the next 5 hours or as soon as possible, and someone will just pick it up the exact same day. So we haven't had any issues yet. However, I don't know, as more people stay home, maybe it's gotten worse. But so just a quick tips and tricks. There we go. Also, if you guys enjoyed the content, please hit that subscribe button. We're pretty close to 1,000 subscribers. Really appreciate all the support. But anyways, back to Tesla Talk Tuesday. Now, something else that is interesting is there's obviously a ton of Model Ys being delivered, or at least there were. That's probably slowed down because of, the whole stay-at-home quarantine thing. I think a lot of people have either delayed or put off or even canceled their Tesla orders, but there's talk about the third row seats still. I don't know if anybody's actually gotten third row seats in their Model Ys. I don't know if it's available yet, but it would make a lot of sense to actually do rear-facing seats in the Model Y. So if you think about the back of the glass, it curves down, and if you do forward-facing seats, your heads are going to be as far back as possible, which means the glass has sloped down further by then. If you make them rear-facing, you get more headroom, and you can potentially fit kids or even adults in those rear seats, even more practically speaking than like my Model S rear seats. My Model S obviously has rear seats. I can't fit in them. I don't think anybody in my family can even fit in them. I mean, you really have to be under like 10 years old. Even then, you might be pushing it depending on when you hit that growth spurt. But it is neat to have the rear-facing seats. I think kids love them. I think they're really cool. I also think, I don't know if they're safer. I have no idea. But, I guess at the very least, they do reinforce the bumper in the Model S's that do have the rear-facing child seats. So something to think about. But I think it would be more practical to have rear-facing seats, because then you have the big like well that you can normally store things in as where your feet go, and then you also have more headspace because the glass hasn't fully sloped down. Your head can go here, and then the glass keeps sloping down here. You have more headroom, so you can have taller kids back there, potentially adults back there, and then yeah, I think they make more sense. So I guess we'll see what Tesla actually does, if they make that a standard feature in the future, or add it as an option. I don't know how well they sold in the Model S's, but being that the Model Y is like a crossover / small SUV, it makes more sense that people would opt to have that third row seating, especially if it's more practical, aka more headroom and more footroom and all that stuff. So I guess we'll see. If you haven't seen it, check out the Polestar Precept. I don't know if the Precept is the name or if it means like pre-concept, but either way, check it out. It looks pretty sweet. It has like the suicide opening doors, kind of like a Rolls Royce or something like that. I think they sourced like sustainable materials for the interior of the car. They have these really thin side mirrors, and then the rear view mirror, both of them, they're basically just like a digital display. So instead of having an actual like rear view mirror and side mirrors, they're cameras, and then they display on the insides of the car. The interior looks pretty sleek. The exterior looks pretty sleek. It's a good looking car. Obviously it's probably not going to come out anytime soon. Even if they say it will, I doubt it will. I didn't see any dates. But some interesting things. So when you look at the interior, it says the seat covers are 3D knitted from 100% recycled PET bottles, whatever that is, in a single thread, made exactly the size with no waste or shavings. Reclaimed plastic bottles are also used for the 100% recycled headlining textile. The Econol carpets are woven from nylon 6, a material recovered from fishing nets. So this sort of seems a lot like the i3. So the i3's interior was like heavily recycled, renewable stuff, all that jazz. So it is pretty neat. Sometimes it makes these cars a lot more expensive, aka the i3. Expensive car for like the range and size. So, you know, it was a BMW, and I think that kind of got some people to buy it, but at the same time, it was pretty overpriced in my opinion. But hey, I mean, if you're all about saving the environment, going electric, going fully, you know, renewable, recyclable interior, it all makes sense. So you can probably get some buyers potentially, but it looks pretty neat. So something to consider. Something else that's really cool is Tesla on their YouTube channel, like Tesla YouTube channel. They released a video about why am I always blanking on this word? They're basically using as many Model 3 parts, or just like parts that they have in general, to repurpose them into making a ventilator. So they did a video on this, and it is really neat to watch. So if you haven't seen it already, go ahead and check that out. I'll just throw up a quick clip here. But they show a diagram, they show the actual machine working in a simulated like lung that it's working on. And it is really neat to see that they're doing this, that they're working on this at a time when they could be, you know, I guess they're probably sort of being forced to shut down, but like if they were open, they'd be building cars and that stuff. But, you know, Elon went out and worked with Medtronic to get 1,200 ventilators to the US, you know, 50,000 N95 masks, and now they're looking to repurpose Model 3 components. You can even see the Model 3 center touchscreen, the sideways horizontal touchscreen in there that they're using as sort of like the displays for how much air is being pumped in, and if, you know, if there's any interruptions in the breathing rhythm from the ventilator, it displays that on the chart. It is really cool to see that Tesla's working on this stuff, as well as other companies out there that have repurposed factories or whatever are donating all of their N95 masks and things like that, even just fabric to cover faces. It is really cool to see a lot of companies coming together and just donating these things at no cost, not trying to make $1 off of this. So hopefully we see more of this. Hopefully it really helps, and hopefully we can all get over this and we can get back out of the house and drive those Teslas around, because that is always very fun. If you missed it, on April 1st, take note of the date here, there was an article that came out saying the Cybertruck was being redesigned. Yeah, that was an April Fool's Day joke, so if you didn't pick up on that, I guess the joke's on you. But either way, yeah, it's not actually being redesigned, or at least like not officially yet. I think the design's kind of grown on me. I kind of like it, but it was pretty funny because I think Barron's picked it up, and then the next day they were like, yeah, it's not actually being redesigned. So yeah, there's that. But it was a pretty interesting article. They, you know, point out like, oh, because of safety things and this and that, like they had to redesign it. It should still retain the top light bar, but you know, we're not sure how else it will look. And they did like another rendering of it. So it was pretty funny. You know, some people were probably very happy. Other people were probably like, man, the old design kind of grew on me. I wish they just kept it. But as far as I know, I think they're still sticking with the design that they revealed. Maybe a few tweaks as far as like, you know, bumpers and things like that. I also don't know as far as like safety things, what those like jagged points are, if that matters at all. So anyways, it's not being redesigned as far as I know. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I saw a lot of people posting even in the Tesla groups. I don't know if they didn't know or if they were just like sharing the articles, and I don't know. Either way, it happened on April 1st. So yeah, April Fool's Day. No, yeah. Now, Tesla also reported their delivery numbers. They delivered around 88,400 vehicles, which was still pretty good as far as numbers go. I think analysts revised estimates down as far as delivery numbers go, but Tesla was still able to beat those numbers, and even with all this coronavirus stuff going on right now. So the stock did actually jump the next day. I think after hours it was up almost like 17% or something. It did come down. It was only up like 7%, but they are doing decently. They're back up. They're up another 5% today. They're back in the 500, so not too shabby. But I think Tesla's going to fare probably the best after this as far as like bouncing back. I just think they have a strong cult following. People that wanted a Tesla are probably still getting a Tesla. People are used to, you know, when you order a Tesla, you just go online and order it. So you don't really have to go to a dealership per se. So the nice thing about that is people can order one right now. And it's a pretty streamlined process. Whereas like if you get another car, you probably go to a dealership and drive off. So I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out over the long term. But like a lot of these car companies are obviously slowing production, shutting down factories. I believe car dealerships are considered essential still and may be open. But I think the sales are going to get crushed. So I'll be curious to see how that works, because that means they're not going to be able to buy a lot from like Ford and GM, because Ford and GM recognize revenue the second they sell the car from the factory to a dealership, whereas like Tesla is kind of like a direct-to-consumer model. So we'll see how the stock does after all of this. We'll see how demand is after all of this. But it is nice to see that demand was still pretty good for the first quarter. But I think the second quarter is going to be more important, because that's obviously all of right now. So yeah. More to come on that. All right, so Hyundai has come out with another EV concept. I think it's called the Prophecy, and it's kind of like a cross between a Model 3, a Taycan, and a Mercedes EQC, which I got from electric.com, by the way. But you can kind of see all of those in there, which is interesting. So they're sort of playing off of the design aesthetics of all of those. The interior is pretty wild, but so are most concept cars. They do say that the features will be coming to like cars in the not too distant future. But I don't know if that means like 2 years or like 5 years or 10 years. Like it's so vague, it doesn't matter. It is always cool to see these concepts, but I feel like they never actually become a reality. I mean, it's just kind of all talk. There's a lot of cars. Like I feel like the Lucid guys were saying like they were gonna have better like range and efficiency based on the size of their battery and the range that the car would get, even better than Tesla. So you know, until they actually release these cars, it's just like, cool. Is it true? I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, it was kind of like the Taycan. They gave like a good estimated range, and then it came in well below that. Now people are saying they get better than like the 201 or whatever it's rated at, but you know, it's still much less than the Model S, even a Model 3, and then it's like double the price of a Model S, quadruple the price of a Model 3. Like, I don't know. Until these other car companies actually release their products, have something on the road that's proven, reliable, and does well, I just sort of see it as all baloney. But that's my 2 cents. Anyways, that's going to be it for Tesla Talk Tuesday. If you guys enjoyed the content, please, again, like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Until next time, stay safe, stay quarantined, stay at home. Thanks for watching.